So if you have that loose, saggy skin underneath your arms, you're going to be very excited to watch this video. Typically, a person with loose skin underneath their arms might just think it's a fat problem and they just need to lose weight. So they do all this cardio and they change their diet and it doesn't do anything. So what I have to share with you first is what the problem really is. And from there, we can come up with a really good solution. Now, there's a term I want to introduce you to called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. And this may or may not be happening to you depending on your age. And one other thing, are you sitting down for this? Immobility. If you immobilize a muscle or a joint, is it the muscle that actually keeps the shape of the arm? The answer is no. It's this right here. So in our bodies, we have saran wrap. We have a certain wrapping tissue that surrounds the muscle, and that tissue is called fascia. Fascia is the bag that surrounds the arm and holds everything in a nice, tight way. And in this diagram here, you'll see you have the skin, and then just underneath it, you have a layer of fat. It's called subcutaneous fat. And then you have the first layer of fascia, okay? And then you have another layer of fat. And then you have another layer of fascia. And then you have the muscle. And fascia also becomes immobilized with immobility and aging. Yes, you might have some fat there that needs to be dealt with, but probably the bigger problem is this atrophy of the fascia and the muscle. Now, there's an interesting book that I'm reading right here, Fascia Treatment with Shock Waves, which I'm not recommending in this video anything about the shock waves. That would be for more of a myofascial problem, which we're not talking about. But I want to share something in this book, this very expensive book. Fascia can change its tone. It has contractile cells within the fascia itself. It can change its tone. So the question is how? We just basically undo the immobility and we start to move it. But here's the problem. If you do this on more of an isolated basis, where you're just working two muscles, right? You're extending the tricep or you're contracting the bicep, that doesn't involve the fascia. It only involves the muscle. Fascia is much more dynamic and it crosses over a lot of different muscle groups. So the type of solution that I'm going to recommend is not a two-dimensional contraction and relaxation type exercise, but more of a functional exercise that involves like at least 20 muscles, because it's all one continuous unit. If you're just going to focus on this one small area if you're neglecting what it's connected to, the back part, we're probably not going to see much change. So I'm going to show you the best exercises to start out with, which I'm going to put a link down below. Rather than reinvent the wheel, you just need to watch how this person did this exercises, because she did a wonderful job of doing the most incredible, dynamic, functional exercises with the arms without any added weight. The fascia. It adds elasticity, flexibility, posture. It holds everything up. If we didn't have it, we'd just basically be this big ball of mush. So really, the solution is a lot of movement in that area. Even in anatomy and physiology, when you take the courses, you learn the origin and insertion of the muscles, right? And that's important. But in life, we're not just using like one or two muscles. I mean, the motions that we do in living are very, very dynamic. And that's why going to the gym and just isolating one muscle at a time, I don't think is the best workout, especially for your fascia, because the fascia wraps around and it goes to other muscles. It's one big sheath that kind of covers everything. All right, so here's the first step, okay? And I would recommend watching this entire video, but this is an arm workout. So as you can see, she has a timer there. You can follow along, and she's just about ready to show you the first exercise that involve not just the arm, but the shoulder itself. No weights. Okay, then she goes to another workout right here where she's doing a different motion. Okay,
Squeezing.
this involving the shoulders,
The shoulder
the
blades
arms,
together. I'm going to turn around so you can see,
etc.
okay? Some of the
Then she does a series of additional exercises, including this one where she's pushing her arms out and in. Okay, looks easy, incredibly
Okay, next
difficult.
one, you guys.
Okay, your arms are going to burn. So just do as much as you can this first workout. You don't want to get too sore. Now, what you're doing in this functional exercise, you're doing a series of moves and motions that involve the fascia and the muscle. And you're going to do this workout as much as you can until you have no more soreness. Now, it could take a week before all the soreness goes away. And then you want to do it again. You're going to keep doing these exercises over and over and over until the point where, you can do them comfortably and there's very little, if any, soreness at all. All right. So now that you went through this exercise, which you're working the muscle, we want to go heavier into the fascia using one of these right here. Okay. Bands. And I found a really good exercise for that maneuver right here. We're going to take a look at it right now.
Stretch the right arm
and
into the
you can
side
see
for the
this
first
person
time.
is taking these
With the
bands
left,
and
you
they're
pull,
stretching
vary the pull,
all the way
depending
to
on how
the lateral
hard
side
you
of
pull,
their
the more
body,
intense this
and
side
they're really
of the pull
activating the fascia. All the fascia that comes underneath here comes all the way down your arm through here, okay? So what we want to do is we want to stretch all of that, because it's not just the exercise that stimulates the reversal of atrophy, it's also stretching. Stretching will help activate the fascial bag around this tissue and start tightening it because it has contractile tissue. And of course, you want to do the other side, okay, with these bands.
Then to the maximum.
Do both sides.
Left arm pulls down.
Okay, and you'll see that then he transitions to another maneuver, which is on your knees. He goes through that technique. Amazing stretches. I mean, for your fascia, it's going to tighten up underneath your arm, and you're going to do both sides. And then once you've graduated from that video, there's one more that I found that's awesome. Now you're going to add weight to your arms while you do some of these exercises. And this video is called Solid Arms and Shoulders, 30-minute strength workout with dumbbells. Okay. And of course, you want to use the appropriate weight for this. So maybe you start out with a 5-pound weight, go to a 10-pound weight, maybe a 15-pound weight, but probably not anything more than that.
Bringing the dumbbells
so in this
up, we go in
exercise,
3
you can see
seconds.
that she has
Here's 2
dumbbells.
and 1.
And she's basically going to work her arms one at a time over her head, which I like this a lot better than doing curls, because you're working
Make
the
sure you're
entire
breathing
arm,
throughout.
the shoulder,
Breathing with that
everything. So
exhale
you're not
as
just
we
working the
press up.
tricep. It's very functional, very simple. And she has a countdown, so you can do that. This is a great video. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. These are 3 amazing videos that I think you can use in the recovery of the fascia underneath your arm, as well as the atrophied muscle underneath your arms. And on that note, I have the first video connected right here. Check it out.